Listen, you know, when I was growing up, I was probably about 8 years old, and at the time, we were living in Silver Spring. Yeah.
Dave Chappelle is widely recognized as one of the most influential comedians in the 21st century. He is known for his fearless, provocative, and often controversial humor. Chappelle has consistently pushed the boundaries of comedy, often using it as a platform to confront difficult social issues head-on. Dave Chappelle is happily married to Elaine Mendoza, an Asian woman, and their marriage is blessed with 3 lovely children. What is the story behind their love, and how are their 3 children today? Watch the full video to find out. Dave Chappelle's love story and marriage. Dave is married to Elaine Mendoza Urfe. She was born on 31st of August, 1974, and raised in Brooklyn, New York City, USA. They were introduced through mutual friends. He discovered early on that he was attracted to her and made his intentions known. But Elaine was hesitant, as she was not used to people with loud personalities. Eventually, she moved past that after discovering he was hiding a bit of shyness, and their courtship quickly blossomed. Later, in 2001, the two decided to marry. Dave converted to Islam when he was 17. Although Dave thinks that Islam has been very helpful in his life, Elaine, on the other hand, was raised as a Christian, and she has decided not to give up her religion. Even though the two have a good marital relationship, they have arguments and debates occasionally, but they keep things respectful. Dave was seen in a video explaining the religious history of the Well of Zamzam in Mecca. He has also explained that his faith has helped him use his career to benefit people. He told Time magazine in May 2005, "I don't normally talk about my religion publicly because I don't want people to associate me and my flaws with this beautiful thing. And I believe it is beautiful if you learn it the right way." One of the rockiest periods of Dave's marriage occurred in the mid-2000s, when he famously fled to South Africa at the height of his Chappelle's Show success. Rumors swirl about the reasons why everything happened, from mental health issues to substance abuse problems, and the trip effectively canceled the $50 million contract Dave had signed with Comedy Central to continue his show. Since then, Dave has talked frequently about how his wife wasn't thrilled about how he abandoned his show and his contract. In 2006, he told Conan O'Brien, "My wife's still a little salty. She's not mad at me. But don't think you're going to walk away from $50 million and your wife's just going to be cool with it." But aside from all of these wrong decisions Dave might have taken, Elaine is a proud wife of her husband, strongly standing beside him when he started to make headway in the industry and started getting his deserved recognition. Like when Dave was the star and a producer of the Michel Gondry-directed documentary, Dave Chappelle's Block Party, which chronicles his hosting a free concert in the Clinton Hill neighborhood of Brooklyn on September 18, 2004. Several musical artists, including Kanye West, The Roots, Erykah Badu, Mos Def, Dead Prez, and Jill Scott, are featured in the movie, both performing in the concert and in conversation off stage. Dave was also able to bring Yellow Springs residents to Brooklyn at his own expense. Another important highlight of that event was the temporary reunion of 1990s hip-hop group The Fugees. Dave toured several cities in February and March 2006 to promote the film under the name Block Party All-Stars featuring Dave Chappelle. Universal Pictures genre division, Rogue Pictures, released the film in the US on March 3, 2006. It was a huge success, landing a gross total of $11.7 million and ranging on a $3 million budget. You may think that was all, and Dave was going to go low, but interestingly, in August 2013, Dave returned to full-time touring stand-up as a headliner, where he was featured during the Oddball Comedy and Curiosity Festival. Sponsored by Funny or Die, he co-headlined with comedy act Flight of the Conchords to pull it through. Suddenly, on November 21, 2016, Netflix announced that they would be releasing 3 new stand-up comedy specials from Chappelle in 2017, with Dave being paid $20 million per special. The first 2 specials were released on Netflix on March 21, 2017, and hailed directly from Dave's personal comedy vault. Deep in the Heart of Texas was filmed at Austin City Limits Live on April 2015, and The Age of Spin was filmed at the Hollywood Palladium on March 2016. The specials marked the comedian's first concert specials released in 12 years and proved to be an immediate success, as Netflix announced a month later that they were the most viewed comedy specials in Netflix's history. In January 2018, at the 6th Annual Grammy Awards, Dave received a Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album for his first two 2017 specials, The Age of Spin and Deep in the Heart of Texas. In September 2018, Dave's Equanimity special received an Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety Special. In October 2018, Chappelle returned to the big screen as Noodles, Jackson Maine's best friend and retired musician in Bradley Cooper's directorial debut, a remake of A Star is Born. The film was a massive critical and commercial success. He was nominated along with the cast for the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Cast in a Motion Picture. And sometime in 2018, Chappelle and Jon Stewart joined forces for a duo comedy tour in the United States and across the United Kingdom. He has also collaborated with Aziz Ansari for 3 stand-up shows in Austin, Texas at the Paramount Theater. And in February 2019, Dave was nominated for and won the Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album for Equanimity and Bird Revelation. In that same year, Dave was chosen to receive the annual Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, presented by John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. President of the Kennedy Center, Deborah Rutter, stated, "Dave is the embodiment of Mark Twain's observation that, against the assault of humor, nothing can stand." And for 3 decades, Dave has challenged us to see hot-button issues from his entirely original yet relatable experience. In December 2020, Dave's company, Iron Table Holdings, made a move to purchase a fire station near his Yellow Springs, Ohio, home, with plans to convert it into a comedy club. He also retrofitted a mechanic's garage in the same village into a clubhouse and dubbed it The Shack for podcasting. Prior to now, Dave's wife Elaine had a dream to become a chef, but after seeing the success and achievements of her husband and being the supportive wife she is, Elaine let go of her desire to cook in order to dedicate her time in building her home and raising her children. Before we delve into Dave's life with his 3 kids, let's learn a bit about him. Dave Chappelle career success and breakthrough. Dave started performing at Harlem's Apollo Theater in front of the amateur night audience, but was booed off stage. He described this experience as the moment that gave him the courage to continue his show business aspirations. He quickly made a name for himself on the New York comedy circuit, even by performing in the city's parks.
Kill him, they don't even hurt him. They just break his heart.
In addition to his weekend stand-up gigs, he was able to hone his craft at Monday night open mic performances at places such as the Boston Comedy Club on West 3rd Street as late as the summer 1994. And in 1992, he won critical and popular acclaim for his television appearance in Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam on HBO. His appearance on this show increased his popularity, eventually allowing him to become a regular guest on late-night television shows such as Politically Incorrect, Late Show with David Letterman, The Howard Stern Show, and Late Night with Conan O'Brien. At age 19, he made his film debut as Achu in Mel Brooks's Robin Hood and Men in Tights. Dave also appeared on Star Search 3 times, but lost to competing comedian Lester Barry. He later joked about becoming more successful than Barry, and that same year, he was offered the role of Benjamin Buford Bubba Blue in Forrest Gump. However, the character was demeaning, and the movie would bomb, so he turned down his role. Dave parodied a film in the 1997 titled Short Bowl of Pork, where a dim-witted black man is responsible for the Rodney King beating, the LA riots, and O.J. Simpson was being accused of murder. In 1994, he also played another supporting role in an early Doug Liman film titled Getting In. Still, at age 19, he was seen as the opening act for R&B soul singer Aretha Franklin. Dave attracted the attention of television network executives and developed numerous pilots, but none were picked up for development in a series. But in 1995, he appeared on ABC's popular sitcom Home Improvement episode. The storyline had Dave and his real-life friend and comedian Jim Brewer ask Tim Taylor for advice on their girlfriends. The character's single outing in the episode proved so popular that ABC gave Buddies their spin-off sitcom titled Buddies. However, after taping a pilot episode, Brewer was fired and replaced with actor Christopher Garton. Buddies premiered in March 1996 to so many disappointing ratings, and the show was canceled after only 5 episodes out of 13 that had already been produced. After Buddies failed, Dave starred in another pilot. According to Dave, the network was uncomfortable with the African American cast and wanted white actors added. Dave vehemently resisted and subsequently accused the network of racism. Dave's father died shortly after returning to Ohio, and he considered leaving the entertainment business. But after much consideration, he later appeared as a stand-up insult comic who targets patrons of a nightclub in the 1996 comedy The Nutty Professor starring Eddie Murphy, one of his major comedic influences. He had a minor role in the 1997 Con Air, and at the beginning of 1998, he performed stand-up for HBO comedy Half Hour. That same year, he appeared in Pilots and Pens Lost, an episode of The Larry Sanders Show's 6th season, in which he and the executives of the show's unnamed television network satirized the treatment that scriptwriters and show creators were subjected to, as well as the executives' knee-jerk tendencies toward racial stereotypes. He and Neil Brennan co-wrote the 1998 cult stoner film Half-Baked, Dave's first starring role, about a group of substance-smoking friends trying to get their other friend out of jail. It made money at the box office and remains a classic stoner film, a genre that includes the Cheech and Chong films and more recent fare like Judd Apatow's Pineapple Express. In December 1998, Dave appeared as Tom Hanks' character's friend and confidant in You've Got Mail. In 1999, he appeared in the Martin Lawrence film Blue Streak. In 2000, Dave recorded his first hour-long HBO special, Dave Chappelle, Killin' Them Softly, in Washington, D.C. Aside from comedy acting, Dave also has a side for philanthropy. In 2004, he donated his time to Seeds of Peace International Camp, a camp in Otisfield, Maine, which brings together young leaders from communities in conflict. He also supports his high school, Duke Ellington School of the Arts. Dave has financially contributed to the school, visited, and gave a commencement speech. During his acceptance speech at the 2017 Emmy Awards, Chappelle gave a shout-out to DC Public Schools, and on November 2021, the school was set to rename their auditorium in Dave's honor. Following controversy in response to jokes made in The Closer, the renaming ceremony was delayed until April 2022 instead. Dave sometimes made an unannounced stop at the school to host a school assembly and Quanda session, asking only students who had an issue with him to come forward to ask questions. Following the assembly, the school decided to rename the auditorium, respecting the wishes of school co-founder Peggy Cooper Caffritz. Dave Chappelle's struggles and setbacks. On May 31, 2005, Dave surprised his fans and the entertainment industry when he abruptly left during production and took a trip to South Africa. He said that he was unhappy with the show's direction, and he expressed in an interview with Time magazine his need for reflection in the face of tremendous stress. He said in the interview, "Coming here, I don't have the distractions of fame. It quiets the ego down. I'm interested in the kind of person I've got to become. I want to be well-rounded, and the industry is a place of extremes. I want to be well-balanced. I've got to check my intentions, man." Immediately following Chappelle's departure, tabloids speculated that Chappelle's exit was driven by drug addiction or a mental problem rather than the ethical and professional concerns that Chappelle had articulated. His decision to quit the show meant walking away from a $50 million contract with Comedy Central and forming a rift with longtime collaborator Neil Brennan. Dave explained how he felt some of his sketches were socially irresponsible. He singled out the Pixie sketch, in which fairies appear to people and encourage them to reinforce stereotypes of their races. In the sketch, Dave is wearing blackface and is dressed as a character in a minstrel show. According to Dave, a white crew member laughed during its filming in a way that made him uncomfortable, saying, "It was the first time I felt that someone was not laughing with me, but laughing at me." During this time, Dave did not rule out returning to Chappelle's show to finish what we started, but promised that he would not return without changes to the production, such as a better working environment. He wanted to donate half of the DVD sales to charity. Dave expressed his disdain at the possibility of his material from the unfinished third season being aired, saying that to do so would be a bully move, and that he would not return to the show if Comedy Central were to air the unfinished material. During a stop in Hartford, Dave walked off the stage due to heckling from the crowd that lasted throughout his entire performance. The heckling was so raucous that it drowned out Dave's voice over the PA system and included chants of white power, a line used in a Chappelle's Show episode that was viewed as wildly uncalled for and out of context by other audience members who later wrote about the event. A few days later, Dave stopped in Chicago for a performance. The comedy website comedyhype.com acquired and released audio of him on stage responding to the heckling. Dave referenced the Hartford incident, stating that young, white alcoholics should be blamed for the prior incident, that he hoped North Korea would bomb Hartford, and in the future, he would not stop in Hartford for gas. And finally summarizing his feelings on the situation by saying, "Fuck Hartford." However, in August 2014, Dave returned to Hartford for a surprise appearance at the 2014 Oddball Festival and received standing ovations during his set. In June 2014, Chappelle made his first major New York City appearance in 11 years, performing 10 nights at Radio City Music Hall. Dave promoted the dates by appearing on The Today Show, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, and Late Show with David Letterman. And finally, in 2015, Dave appeared in the Spike Lee film Chirac for his first film role in 13 years.
What's up, Dave? How you doing, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
Hey, Dave, you think it's too early to make jokes about Diddy?
On November 12, 2016, Dave made his hosting debut on Saturday Night Live, the weekend after Donald Trump won the 2016 presidential election. The show also featured A Tribe Called Quest as the musical guest. In his opening monologue, he tackled Trump and the election head-on. He ended his monologue by stating, "I'm wishing Donald Trump luck, and I'm going to give him a chance. And we, the historically disenfranchised, demand that he give us one too." His performance on SNL received widespread acclaim from critics and audiences alike. At the 69th Primetime Emmy Awards, he received an Emmy Award for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Comedy Series for his appearance. He donated the Emmy to his former high school while filming an episode of Jerry Seinfeld's Netflix series, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, Season 10, Episode 2, and Nobody Says, I Wish I Had a Camera. On June 12, 2020, Netflix released an 8:46, 27-minute, and 20-second video of a newly recorded stand-up by Dave on the YouTube channel Netflix is a Joke. The private event was held outdoors on June 6, 2020, in Yellow Springs, Ohio, where audience members observed social distancing rules and wore masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The title was chosen about the 8 minutes and 40 seconds that police officer Derek Chauvin knelt on the neck of George Floyd, a black man, murdering him. Dave touches on Floyd's murder and subsequent protests and aims at Don Lemon, Laura Ingraham, and Candace Owens. When Dave's fifth Netflix special, Dave Chappelle, Sticks and Stones, was released on August 26, 2019, the special garnered controversy and backlash for jokes about abuse allegations against singers Michael Jackson and R. Kelly, as well as for jokes about the LGBT community and canceled culture. But even though that was in the way, the following year, Sticks and Stones won the Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album. On October 5, 2020, Dave starred in his sixth Netflix special, The Closer. In The Closer, he again made jokes about gay and transgender people, particularly transgender women, that some considered transphobic. Simultaneously, Dave argued that he was not anti-transgender, bringing up his opposition to North Carolina's anti-transgender bathroom laws and his friendship with the late Daphne Dorman. The special was met with some backlash, including from students of Chappelle's alma mater, Duke Ellington School, and on October 20, Netflix employees organized a walkout demonstrating their support of the transgender community and demanding that The Closer be taken off of Netflix. Although CEO Ted Sarandos acknowledged that storytelling has real impact in the real world, he refused to take down the special, stating that he does not believe it falls into hate speech. In November 2020, Saturday Night Live lampooned the controversy during its Weekend Update segment, stating, "A Washington, D.C. art school is postponing renaming its theater after alumni Dave Chappelle's Netflix controversy." Well, of course, because God forbid you should name a building after someone problematic in Washington, D.C. In the summer of 2020, Chappelle announced that he would not give his name to the Duke Ellington School Theater, instead insisting it should be named the Theater for Artistic Freedom and Expression. Dave Chappelle, Live in Real Life, a documentary covering Chappelle's concerts in Yellow Springs during the COVID-19 pandemic, premiered at Tribeca Film Festival in June 2021, followed by a series of roadshow events in the United States and Canada, and a limited theatrical release on November 19, 2021. In the early hours of May 4, 2022, Dave was performing at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles, California, as part of the Netflix Is a Joke Fest, where he was tackled on stage by a member of the audience who was swiftly subdued by security. The attacker was later found to have been armed with a replica handgun containing a knife blade. Dave's 4-night stint at the Hollywood Bowl ties him with Monty Python for the most headlined shows by a comedian at the venue. On November 12, 2022, Chappelle hosted Saturday Night Live for the third time, and on February 5, 2023, he received his 4th Grammy Award for Best Comedy Album for The Closer. On December 31, 2023, Netflix released Chappelle's latest special, The Dreamer, which debuted at number 5 on the chart with a total of 2.2 million views. Dave's kids. Shortly after they got married, Elaine gave birth to a boy, and they named him Suleiman. And in 2003, she gave birth to another boy, which they named Ibrahim, followed by a girl years later, 2009, named Sonal. Parenting hasn't been favorable for Dave because of the nature of his job. He is rarely available to build this bond with his children. All 3 kids keep very low profiles, with hardly any of them across social media. However, in 2019, their dad, Dave, opened up on his Netflix stand-up special, Dave Chappelle, Equanimity and the Bird Revelation, about how bittersweet it feels to watch your kids grow up and not need you as much. He said, "I see my age in my children. I came home from the road not long ago after I was gone for weeks, and nobody was home when I came back. Not one person in my family thought maybe I'd like to see them when I got back," he recalled. That was a wake-up call. He explained how they'd spill out when his kids were little and the tour bus would pull up to the house. "Dad is home, hooray!" But then as the years went on, they'd get less interested, saying, "Hey everybody, look, it's Mr. Promises back from the road." Dave also told a story about the time he found substances in his son Suleiman's bedroom. He said he went into my older son's room, found these notebooks, and started going through the notebooks. "There was all this wonderful poetry in it," he said. He looked through his drawers, and when he opened his middle drawer, he found his rolling papers. He looked down at them and said, "Oh, that's where the poetry's coming from." Unlike his older brother, Ibrahim has been a source of laughs in Dave's stand-up comedy specials. Dave told one of his favorite stories about his middle child in his 2017 Netflix specials, The Age of Spin, the time Ibrahim asked for tickets to see Kevin Hart live. He explained how he was at home and his son busted in and said to him, Dad, I need $250. Ibrahim said Kevin Hart was coming to town and he wanted to see his show. Reluctantly, Dave took him to see Hart's set, and apparently, Ibrahim thinks the ride-along star's humor is funnier than his dad's. Dave said, "My son was slapping his knee and laughing joyously, and he could not understand what was so funny when he did the same thing in his own set without getting this level of expression from his son." Ibrahim also embarrassed his dad when Hart asked the father and son to join him for dinner, and Dave kindly declined, but his son pushed past him with some cold shoulders and said, "Actually, Mr. Hart, we haven't eaten for several hours, and we would like to join you," Dave shared. Meanwhile, for now, Sonal has followed her father into showbiz. She played a cameo role in 2018's A Star is Born as her real-life dad's pretend daughter. The two later appeared together on the Toronto International Film Festival's red carpet for the movie's debut there. What do you think about Dave Chappelle's marriage and parenting? Feel free to share your mind in the comment section below. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Before you go, click on the video displayed on your screen.